Hello and welcome to another presentation by Just Be a Man. Thank you for joining us again. First, I'd just like to say we've been doing this for 1 year now. We started last May 2020. This will be our 60th episode.
Good Lord.
So
Already, huh?
we're getting it in, fellas. We're getting it in. All right. So now, Chuck, you're on mute. I see you clapping. I don't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying that deserves a round of applause.
All right. So hey, we're one guy down. Mike hasn't made it yet. Hopefully he'll jump in as soon as he can. But hey, I just wanted to touch on something real quick before we get into our main topic. Our main topic is take him to the bank. We'll expand on that in just a bit. But first, I just want to bring up something real quick that I overheard this week. And over the last couple of weeks, everyone's heard about the whole situation with Liz Cheney. And the thing that I find really interesting is that, this Me Too movement, there really wasn't a whole lot of kickback. There wasn't a lot of flack about it. So does that mean it has to be sexual in order for people to care? Like, I'm not really digging Liz Cheney, but the reason she lost her job for like no reason, like it's fucked up. I mean, whether you like her or not, like, is that how someone should lose their job because you don't agree with something? I mean, anybody can chime in, but I'm just saying, why? I guess I don't feel like when Cosby was out there, where Weinstein was out there, the women were up in arms. They had pitchforks and everything. But like, whether you like this chick or not, like, should she have lost her job? That's to anybody. That just kind of bums me out.
No, she shouldn't have lost her job. She was a political hit job. She didn't toe the party line. She didn't follow the rules.
But what they asked her to do was crazy. I mean, because she spoke the truth. Like, that's like so crazy to me. Like,
that speaks to how far they're willing to go to get their agenda across. So I mean, that's the way you really have to look at it. She was in the way.
All right.
I look at it like Martin Luther King spoke the truth. He still was assassinated. Medgar Evers spoke the truth. He still was assassinated. Malcolm X spoke the truth. He still was assassinated. Mm-hmm. So when you speak truth to power, or even Colin Kaepernick, he just took a knee and he basically was blackballed out of the NFL. So when you speak the truth and you set people up, all they're going to do is tear you down.
Well, truth and politicians don't necessarily go hand in hand anyway.
How about that?
You know what I'm saying? That's just the historical nature of it. But, one thing, playing devil's advocate that you have to admire about the conservatives or the Republican Party is the fact that, they stick together, bro. They will railroad, right or wrong, they will railroad one of their own in order to make sure that there is unity amongst the party. Good, bad, indifferent, like them, hate them, whatever. They have that stick-to-itiveness as it relates to, just sticking together on certain issues, and this was one of them. They assassinated one of their own for the sake of the Trump supporters or whatever you want to call them.
I like this. Yeah, that's the best way to say it. There's nothing to add to that.
All right, I'm gonna let it go. I just want to put that out there because it's bananas, but whatever. All right, fellas, we're gonna move into our main topic, but before we do that, we'd like to send a shout out to our primary sponsor, Manscaped. Charles.
All right, Manscaped, guys, we got breaking news. The Manscaped engineering team has successfully launched the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. Everyone on this podcast has received theirs in the mail, and we are currently using it and very happy with the product. They've taken it to a whole nother level, guys. It's now available in the US as well as Canada. And we're just asking you to join the over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer. Get 20% off, free worldwide shipping with the code JBAMSCAPE at manscaped.com. And again, ladies, this is the perfect Father's Day gift. Father's Day is coming up. Take care of your man. Take care of your man's balls. How about that? by making sure that you order this product. Now, the JBAM crew, again, we're amongst the first to try the new 4.0. And again, I'm personally blown away by the performance. The craftsmanship is just next level. I thought the 3.0 was good. I was really impressed by that. But when they sent the 4.0, I'm like, man, they really engineered the mess side of this thing. You know what I mean? And that is no joke. And I use it faithfully. I've been a faithful user of the Manscaped product for over a couple of years. So well before we picked them up as a sponsor. You know, my wife purchased my first Manscaped kit for me. And again, I've been hooked ever since. She loves it. I love it. And again, we're just asking you guys to join in on this parade, if you will, and get you some Manscaped products. As you can see in the box below, we have our discount code JBAMSCAPE at manscaped.com. Again, 20% off plus free shipping. Take care of yourself. Take care of your balls. Personal grooming is important. And guys, again, stop putting that same blade or razor, whatever you're using, that you use on your balls, on your face. That is nasty. It's unsanitary, the whole 9 yards. Pick you up some Manscaped product and join the over 2 million men worldwide who use it. So back to you, Wayne.
So let me get this straight. In a man's life, he gets a guaranteed blowjob 3 times a year. Father's Day,
Guaranteed is a strong word, but go ahead.
and steak and blowjob day. That's when he's supposed to. So I mean, at least 3 times out of the year, his balls need to be smooth.
I'm not familiar with that last one. Steak and blowjob day.
Yeah, steak and blowjob day. I think it's the day after Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Okay,
Yeah,
I need to make note of that. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll see you the fly. And that's where Manscaped comes in.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
See how informative JBAM is?
Yeah.
See how informative? You just learned something new.
Yeah.
Thank you for that commentary. Appreciate it. All right. Back to the show. So listen, today's topic is take him to the bank. Take him to the bank.
Don't get me started on upside down pineapples. Okay, that was for Mike since he's not here. Okay, moving on.
So take him to the bank. So what do we mean by take him to the bank? So, I brought up that thing real quickly about Liz Cheney. That's kind of something that's big in the news. But then there's just some other stuff that's going on in the news in the last few weeks that just kind of struck me as, kind of crazy. So I guess one of the biggest things out there right now is Bill Gates getting divorced. Now, Bill Gates is, I don't know, for people that are my age, for 20, 25 years, Bill Gates has been the richest man in the world, according to Forbes, Fortune, whatever the hell it is. And he's been married a long time. And after all this time, he's getting divorced. And the numbers that they're talking about are like ridiculous. Now, it's not official yet. It's not official, but the numbers are crazy.
What numbers they talking?
They're saying that she could end up with $65.5 billion.
Ooh.
And they said that would surpass what Jeff Bezos right now.
Wow.
Yeah, because she was at the 40s.
Well, high 50s, but yeah. But we're talking 65 billion. So I mean, this is, that's crazy, right? And so another story in the news, we have Dr. Dre. All right. So Dr. Dre, his wife needs. I'm sorry. Before we get to Dr. Dre, it was gonna be Gary Owen, and his wife or ex-wife or whatever the problem, she needs $44,000 a month. So I guess what I'm trying to say is these guys have been married for a very long time. And during these are all celebrity, rich people type things. And while you're married to this person, you're living that lavish lifestyle, right? You got a lot of things going on, good. But then now that it's over, or for whatever reason, they think that they expect that they should continue to, that nothing should change for them.
That's right.
It's
Lifestyle
crazy.
thing.
So I mean, here's an example. Way back when you had what was it? It was Mel Gibson. He was worth like $850 million. She got 425, exactly half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And people was talking about Mel Gibson going crazy. Really? Like,
Right.
So I guess my question is to you guys. Well, first, I'm gonna start with you, Steph. But first, I just want to talk about, we hear these sensational stories of these really rich people, these celebrities, and these different people. What is your take on it? And is it like setting a really bad precedent, or is it just like that's the price of doing business? What do you think?
It's the price of doing business because it's been around so long. We sit here and we think about all the females that have gotten over. Y'all remember when Mary J. Blige's husband?
That was on my list.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, he was getting over as well, and he was doing wrong. He was doing dirt, and it's unfortunately the price of doing business, specifically here in the United States. I don't know about other laws in other countries, but we know these large sums definitely happen here in the United States, and it's in my idea, in my view, it's wrong.
But what's the criteria? I mean, if like somebody like a Bezos, okay, who's worth billions of dollars, his wife, who I'm going to assume was with him at the beginning, what entitles her to half of $1 billion? I'm not saying that she didn't help him in the beginning, or I don't know their story, but still, I said $1 billion, but I know it's an astronaut. What, like 400 billion or something like that?
Even more.
What's the criteria to determine that somebody is worth, or they're, you know what I mean? That's my issue.
Yeah,
well,
they look at, it's the law. There are a lot of factors that they look at. The length of time that they've been married, the lifestyle is a tremendous factor, and the court is so concerned about maintaining the lifestyle for the
affected spouse.
The affected spouse. Okay.
Okay.
But you have to keep in mind that if I'm living a $10 million lifestyle with my wife and we divorce, the expectation is that she's going to maintain that level of living. But now I have to support two lifestyles.
Right.
And it doesn't seem like the court really considers that. It's like, to hell with the primary breadwinner in terms of their lifestyle. The other person needs to be maintained at all costs, and that's the problem that I have with it.
And that's real quick. That's part of my problem also. If you split and go your separate ways, okay, yeah, maybe I do have to pay something, whatever. But how long until what? Is that person now have to? Okay, we're not together anymore. So now, what are you going to do to self-sustain? Do I now have to? I have to make sure that your life is comfortable forever. Is there a time? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm not saying that the person isn't entitled to it necessarily, but I just want to know how. I just don't get it.
It's a great question, and we're talking about people who have a lot of money, right? A lot of money. So again, an example. Here's another example. We have, I guess, what we would refer to as the first known Black billionaire, Bob Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
When he got divorced, his wife got $400 million.
Yes, sir.
So this dude, like, have you heard of him again? He sold BET to Viacom, and it was a wrap. Like,
yeah, well, we don't mess with Bob Johnson like that no more.
But what I'm saying, and another little fun fact that I found in looking at that is, after the divorce was final, his ex-wife ended up marrying the presiding judge of that case.
What?
Ooh.
The judge of the case?
Hey, the internet wouldn't lie. The internet wouldn't lie.
Oh, come on.
He married up. I ain't mad at the judge.
Hey, but at the same time,
Here come the judge.
Now she owns that ranch not too far from you, Tucker. That the retreat that's out there in Middleburg. She's doing real good.
Yeah, she'll do
Well,
some.
Oh, I bet she
who doesn't
is.
do good
Yeah.
starting with $400 million?
This is true.
How long, Steph,
Yo.
the worst planner, how long would it take you to lose $400 million? It takes a little while.
Oh, it takes a while.
So,
And unless you give it all to the church, but that's
Yes.
another conversation.
I wish we had some women chime in on our line here, but we'll see what happens with that. But I just want to be really clear, really clear. We're talking about spousal support, not child support. Completely different subjects. All right. I just want to be clear with that. So we're talking about these people with these really big money and all these different things. And when you take half of that money, again, Bob Johnson getting left with 400 million. He ain't starving. He ain't on the street. What about a dude who makes $100,000?
Right.
So your lifestyle.
Are we getting
really
personal?
changes.
Are we getting personal?
Oh, we about to.
Okay.
So what about a dude who makes $100,000? So now it's a 50. So now cut that in half. Your life is changing.
No doubt.
Your life is changing.
Absolutely.
Like these dudes who
Absolutely.
lost all these millions. Yeah, it sucks, but their life ain't changing.
Right.
Well, I mean, we know the system is rigged, right? So I think it's incredibly important for people to first and foremost know who you marrying, from the jump, and you have to prepare for what could happen in the end. It's like I don't have a prenup, in my marriage, but I don't frown upon the people that decide that they want to go that route, because let's face it, guys, 50% of marriages in the United States of America end in divorce. And marriage is an industry. It's an industry that caters towards women. It's a $52 billion industry. Okay. I thought it was actually more when I was doing some research on it, but $52 billion, and it's primarily geared towards women. So they have to create this incentive for people to want to go that route. Part of the incentive is that if you get divorced, you're still going to be taken care of. So that's why people are sort of, especially women, are attracted to that whole thing, because they are, let's face it, and I know I'm going to get some heat. Don't send me no daggone emails, but it's like when you look at these cases, and I'm talking facts, I'm not talking like I'm guessing here. Women are the chief benefactors of this industry. They're the chief benefactors of the settlements, in court. So they're the chief they benefit from this thing, more so than we as men. I want you to think about one celebrity case. We were talking about celebrity cases, right? Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt. Both of them are multi-millionaires worth over $100 million. Guess what? They split, and Brad Pitt still had to enter into a settlement with Angelina Jolie to the tune of over $100 million. So how is that right? Mike Tyson, Robin Givens, real quick. They were married for 8 months, bro. 8 months. And he ended up paying her like $10 million for eight-month marriage, no children. She already had celebrity status. She was already on television, movies, doing the whole thing. How was that even right?
It's not. It's not. Like Steph mentioned before, getting personal, but real talk. I walk into a courtroom and I got a female lawyer. She got a female lawyer, and the judge is female. My ass is done. It was ugly, right? And no one cares about what the reason. No one cares what you're doing or what you've done in the past. None of that matters. Everyone wants to split assets, and you get to keep all your liabilities. That's nice of them, right? Like so.
Yeah, that's nice.
So
and all the court fees fall on you.
Man, I went to court one time and was told that I was trying to get my child support reduced, and I was told it was frivolous. I was trying to save money. It cost me $9,000 in her lawyer fees, 9 joints. So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. The fees are crazy. The process you have to go through is crazy, and it gets people disenchanted. So now you get a person who, like I said, makes $100,000, and now he got to live off of 50. That's different, right? So let me ask you this question. Let's go back to these women who Charles touched on prenup and all that stuff. Now I want to talk about it a little bit. Charles, let me ask you this. What about the women who present themselves when you first meet them and all these different things as independent, don't need nobody, their own money and all this other stuff? What changes? What changes from the time that they don't need nothing to they do? What do you think makes a change?
Well,
Do they need to get because do they need half?
hell have no fury. If this woman is scorned, okay,
That's your ass.
that's your ass. You're going to pay. And they're when they walk into those situations, into a courtroom, 9 times out of 10, the woman is painted as the victim. Even in the court of public opinion, Eric Benet, Haley Berry, okay, he ended up in a situation where he was trying to get money out of her, and dude was clowned publicly. Everybody was all over Eric Benet because he flipped the script. Okay, but he wasn't making as much money as Hallie. So why was he wrong in pursuit of spousal support in the court of public opinion? Only because he's a man? Is that what made him a punk? Is that what made him not right? Because and if he was a woman, if the shoe was on the other foot, folks wouldn't have, no one would blink an eye about it, because that's the expectation, is that the man is going to basically come out on the short end of the process. That's just the way people look at this. So my thing is, man, like I said before, you got to be careful going into this process, because it doesn't end well for a lot of people. And if a woman is scorned, if she is hurt in any way, shape, or form, the court is already going to paint her out to be a victim. But even more so if there's some scorn behind it. And a lot of women, they look at this as, you're going to pay for the amount of time I spent with you. Like the sacrifices is not on both sides. You know what I mean? Because just like you're using up some good years on me, I'm using up some of my good years on you. I'm not getting any younger. None of us is.
Mhm.
It's crazy. Yeah, you got it. You got it. Steph, what's your thoughts on these independent women in divorce?
I'd have to say that unfortunately, well, real talk, I've been married 3 times. First
Damn.
time, yeah. Oh, hey. Hey.
Third time's a charm.
Yes, no, but I'm good. I'm good. The third one, we're meeting in the cemetery. That's how we get divorced, in the cemetery. Anyway, so the first one was independent, and we had 2 kids. And when we got divorced, she didn't want anything from me. She wanted the kids to be taken care of. It was a beautiful thing. And I haven't had to pay child support in about 5 years, because they're grown, mature adults, but I still send money to the youngest because I just want to get her established. The beautiful thing. The second one claimed to be an independent and rode me to, until I broke. And, it's just one of those, oh, I'm good. Oh, then she scorned because I couldn't take any more of her bullshit. Now she needs support. And the court said, okay, you were married 8 years, you're going to pay her spousal support for 4 years. And this chick had the nerve to send me a note the last month. It was already done. And she sent me a note saying, you still owe me a month of spousal support. Get the hell out of here. We're already done. I counted the months. I sent it to you. I said, nice try. So, there are some women that will milk you just because they can. And that was my case.
Okay, all right. Chuck, what's your thoughts on independent women? Now, I know you're in a situation where you haven't had to really live it, but you've seen it from the outside.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to be independent, it's another thing to be an asshole. You know what I mean? I mean, if this is, I don't know, man. The court system is just not set up equally fairly. I mean, and you can't necessarily be mad at someone, a woman, for using the court system to her advantage if it's set up that way.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that she should. You know, I mean, and you have women who use the system to their advantage to one up the man, add insult to injury, pain and suffering, and don't let a kid be involved. You know, it's another tool. But you know, I don't know. I kind of struggle with that term, I guess, independent woman, because again, if they're using the system the way the system's designed, the system needs to be changed. It's broken. I don't see the fairness in it. I don't understand the system. There's so many good fathers out there that get shit on because the system says, you know, it's just so many gray areas. So, you know, I don't necessarily fault the women. I fault the ones that are using the system vindictively. But again, it's the system, and the system needs to be changed.
You just said the same thing twice. You don't fault the women, then you don't using it vindictively. Ain't that the same shit?
So say it again. I mean,
you don't fault the women, and then you say only the ones that use it vindictively. Ain't that the same thing?
You know what I meant. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but let me say this, Wayne. Also, you know, I said what I said earlier, but really, not all women operate like that. There are some independent women out there that aren't trying to take their man to the bank. They're trying to, you know, enter into something that's fair. You know, I'm a case in point. You know, with my, you know, divorce. You know, when I went through the process, there were no attorneys involved. We didn't go to court, anything of that nature. We sat down and we discussed like things, and we settled it just like adults. You know, there wasn't, you know, all this back and forth, this bitterness, you know, paying all these attorneys and things of that nature. None of that took place because, again, we were able to just work it out. And I know that my case is not like most cases out there, you know, and I feel very fortunate that I was able to go through that process in that type of way. But I know plenty of dudes that have been bent over, you know, because, you know, they just weren't going through the process with that type of person.
I'll tell you, mine was childish as fuck. But anyway, so I want to shift a little bit here. So people have said that a marriage. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just trying to get in one of the
comments.
Comments from it. One of our folks said, seems like the bad dudes and bad fathers get let off the hook, and the good ones get shitted on. And that's a fair statement.
There you go. Yeah. Good point. Hey, I was just going to mention, you know, some people have said that the marriage is like a merger of two corporations or two companies, right? I'm sure everyone's heard that before.
No, that's the first time I've heard that one. Okay.
So it's a connection of two entities.
That's all it is.
Joined together.
Marriage is a contract.
It's a contract.
Right.
That's why you got to separate it through the court, right?
Yeah, so you got to get a marriage license.
Exactly. So let's just say when some of these companies, so let's just say, I know, Steph, we talked before about the stock market and all this stuff, and you're invested in these companies. One of these companies fail. What do you get?
You get their bankruptcy.
You
get all their liabilities.
What you get.
You get an IOU.
Because it failed, right? Because it failed. I mean, there's tons of examples of large companies that fail. And what did the people who were holding markers get? Nothing.
Yeah.
Right? So why is this so different? It's crazy. I mean, just think about it. Why is this so different?
I hear what you're saying. I would say this: if we're talking about divorce, right? No, it shouldn't go on forever. Listen, you two got married, and let's say that you are the breadwinner. You know, she's home, she's taking care of the home. Let's just say that's the way your marriage is set up. Okay, so now after 15, 20 years, you guys decide to get divorced. Well, she hasn't been working. She's been helping. She's been So yes, I believe you need to make some accommodation to make sure that, but for how long? I mean, and that's my thing. I think there should be a period. I don't think that you should, even if you're making $100,000 or you're making $10 million. If you if I split or for, like you said, from a company, why? I mean, unless I've got some accounts receivable, then our ties are severed. So yeah, okay, in your divorce proceeding, okay, in 30 months, you had, that's enough time for you to get job training, whatever. It's because you have to become self-sustaining. I'm not going to pay for you for the next 25, 30 years. That's the way I'm looking at it, right? So that's, if that's what you were talking about, that's kind of the way I feel about it.
Yeah. I got you. I mean, we talk about all these cases, right?
Yeah.
And you have all these public people who go through this situation. But
Right.
because those numbers are so big, they are paying forever. Like, Beth made a comment about Bob Johnson's ex-wife and how she's started all these other businesses. Great
Mhm.
for her. But she had a nice little seed money to make that happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Mhm.
So I mean, she didn't need no job training. Right?
Hey, Wayne, I want to show you, look at my background right now. That was you a few years ago saying,
Uh-oh.
Mike Rock, what's good?
Right.
Boom! Look who jumped into the room.
So yeah,
Man.
so what's up there, brother?
Chilling, bro.
Yeah, so we up here talking about take him to the bank and
Yeah.
how things is going on. Well, I'm gonna give you a second to catch up, Mike. But Charles, I'm gonna come to you with a quick question.
Mhm.
Let me ask you, when it comes to all these couple things with these celebrity types, why, when there's a divorce, how come the woman never changes her name back to the maiden name? Why does she keep that?
Oh, come on, man. It's
Let our audience know.
it's a money grab. You know what I mean? It's just like, you have, kids, for example, the Kennedys who go on to marry. They're going to keep that Kennedy name somehow, some way, because it's something that helps to maintain that prestige, that popularity, and ultimately it keeps money coming in because
Well,
they're instantly recognized as such. So I'm sorry, you're going to say something, Chuck? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, at that level, it's a brand now.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's a brand.
Absolutely.
So now you get those free. You get to those restaurants. You get those perks, or you get to the front of the line, or you get these different things because you're so and so. So and so.
Mhm.
Right. So right. Like that's kind of shiesty, right?
I wouldn't necessarily call it shiesty because, like I said, in many family scenarios, that's what it is. People hold on to that name that's going to be most beneficial to them in the end. Period. End of story. So it could be marriage, or it could be the fact that, hey, I was born a Rockefeller, so and you're gonna know that every time I walk into a room, who I am.
Okay. All right. Good question. A good answer, I should say. So, Mike,
Yo,
talking about these chicks out here, man. So, hey, I know you missed a bunch of it, so I just want to kind of, give you a chance to catch your breath. But
Well,
let
I
me
know
ask
I know what the topic's about.
so let me ask
But
you this though.
what's your question?
My question to you is, do you think that the whole divorce, the whole support system, and the women going after support, do you believe that is a form of punishment?
I do. I believe in supporting our family. All of us here, we're men of character. We stand up and do what we have to do for our families. And there's some people, a lot of brothers out there that are that type of way, but they can be broken down due to the fact that the system tends to get the lady or the mother or whatever the situation is, starts to change her for some reason. They believe they're starting to believe, even if it was amicable, and then next thing you know, it seems like you know, they start listening to people at the court. You need this. Are you getting money for this? Are you getting money for that? The thing about it is that, you know, going through the experience of what I had to go through, I was all for whatever he needed, or whatever the baby needed. I'm there for it. You know what I mean? It just didn't work out. Things just don't work out all the time with people. You know, stuff don't work out. So you have to move on. But I made sure that I was a part of that process where I was going to take care of my son and make sure that he got everything he needed. Now, the process of increasing when you didn't need to increase, in which I never denied it. Whenever I had to go to court and they increased it, they said, you had a problem with it. I said, no, I don't, Your Honor. And it got to the point where he was like, why are you, you know, they looked into it, come to find out, I didn't have to increase that much. If anything, they had to pay some money or take on another responsibility as far as the insurance or something like that, because I was doing everything.
But so, yeah, just to switch gears a little bit, Mike, though, but like we're really focusing on the spousal support, right? We're focusing on the females here. So we're not talking about child support, because, you know, everybody knows that's a calculation, state by state. There's a you punch some numbers in, and that's what it is.
Right.
But this spousal support, they pull it completely out of their ass. Right. It's just a number. Boom.
Mhm.
So given that, the fact that your life is going to change, because let's just put you in that spot. Your life is going to change because of your loss of income, or your loss of disposable cash.
Right.
So you drop down, but she moves up because she's staying where she was always at.
Right. Right.
How that sound?
No. You know what? It's, I don't know. I think the system is flawed somewhat. I understand that if you have a child, you should pay for your child. I get it. But as far as the female to manipulate the system even more so, or to put more constraints on you, like, you know, the time constraint, I'm picking them up at 7. Well, we ain't gonna be ready to 8. 8 doesn't fit into my schedule, but then you don't get to see him. You know, that manipulation type stuff bothers me. Halfway. I was going to pick him up all the way and bringing him home, bringing him back. Come to find out, I didn't even have to do that. Did the court tell me, Mr. Thickpen, you can meet halfway? No, I kept doing that for almost 3 years before I found out that I could meet somebody in the middle, but nobody said that at the meeting. So
but that's the punishment. That's the punishment, right?
Right. But I'm saying all you had to do is say, sir, you know, you don't have to go all the way down here. You can meet in the middle. That's a part of the, nah. But also on that point too, don't forget, I didn't have a lawyer either. So, of course, they're not going to be forthcoming with a lot of stuff that you need to know.
Okay. All right. Steph. So from your perspective, I know you said you've been through this process a time or two.
Yeah, twice. Okay.
So, and when you outlined it previously, the situations were very different. The way that the woman responded to it was very different. Now, do you think that it was, I don't want to say cultural, but was upbringing, or do you think that there was somebody in one of their ear saying, you know, get that money? Or, I mean, do you think that there was some outside influences that made these two work very differently?
Upbringing. The first one, she just wanted the kids taken care of. That was her focus. As long as the kids can take care of, I'll find a job, and you know, you won't have to worry about anything. And that was perfect for me, because at the time I really couldn't afford a large spousal support case. The second one, upbringing too. She was from the hood, so she was going to take advantage of any government kickbacks or my wallet kickbacks that she could. And she didn't talk to anybody. I mean, she just talked to her lawyer, and she tried to get as much as she wanted. You know, thankfully, I had the child support from the first marriage, so I was still doing that. So that was calculated in, and you know, it's amazing. I don't hear anything from the second at all, which is good with me. But the first one, I still talk to every blue moon, you know, based on children things. So it's all about upbringing and in your own attitude.
Okay. So, Chuck, I want to move to you real quick. So obviously, I know you have girls, and you're obviously teaching them to be that independent type. So and take care of themselves, entrepreneurial in spirit, and all those good things.
No, I'm teaching them to be thoughts.
Well, well, they got to do
I'm
something.
sorry.
You gonna sleep on the couch tonight. You gonna sleep on the couch tonight, buddy.
Hey, Chuck, I don't care what you do, but you just be good at what you do.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to be the best. I'm sorry, wait, go ahead, brother.
Nah, but okay. So even as these top level thoughts, but the reality is you want them to feel like, and I think a lot of fathers do this. You want them to feel like no matter what the situation is, they'll be able to take care of themselves. They'll never be, fish out of water.
Mhm.
So you would expect that they would have a level of confidence that, you know what, I don't need this dude. I'm gonna still do my thing. I mean, is that kind of a conversation that you've ever had, that you be self-sufficient?
Yes and no. The conversation is the only person that can truly take care of you is you. Worry about yourself. Take care of yourself first. Put yourself first, then you can help others. And that's not to say that you have to take care of yourself. Your mom and dad aren't going to be around forever. You have to be independent in that way. Now, and I think from that, I think they understand what we would intend for them if, God forbid, they got married and things went left. I think because we've taught them to be independent, they would understand that, if you have to get divorced, you have to go your separate ways, then, there's a way to do it, follow the rule, the process, whatever, and do it respectfully, and do it morally. I've taught them not to linger. In other words, get in, get out. Don't linger. There's no reason for, if you're separating, you have a clean separation, move on with your life, things like that. Unfortunately, you have some people that just can't move on with their lives, and they're messy, and they use the system to their advantage. So, yeah, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, just obviously my kids, but I think, God forbid, if something happened, they would know to, hey, can we work this out between us first? No, looks like we have to go to court to, separate assets. Not a problem. I believe they'd go to court. I believe they'd follow all the rules and all that. Then after that, I believe they would want a clean break and go their separate ways, unless there's a child involved. If there's a child involved, knowing my kids, they would put this person probably on a structured settlement or whatever they have to do to make sure that the child is taken care of. And they would probably want nothing for themselves, because that's not how my kids operate. I know them, and I can say this: they kind of treat things like a cancer, and sometimes you got to eradicate cancer. You got to get it out of your life as soon as possible. And that's just kind of how they operate.
Okay, all right. Charles, you mentioned earlier that you had an amicable divorce,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you also mentioned that that's rare.
Right.
And yes, it is. It's very rare.
Very rare.
You know,
Endangered species.
you're the only one I know.
Yep.
So-
Endangered species.
Wow. That's unfortunate.
So let me ask you this.
Mhm.
What advice would you give to someone who's going through this process to have an amicable situation, as opposed to getting it figured out through the courts? I mean, because I think there's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of feelings, there's a lot of stuff that's going on at the time of divorce, separation, whatever you want to call it. And hey, people, they just start yelling and screaming, and they're not thinking through it.
Mhm.
So what do you think that you did well, and what did she do well that made it work like that, made it work?
Well, I think it goes back to the foundation of the relationship, which was founded on friendship to begin with. And although things did go south, the focus was to make sure that both parties were taken care of. Now, divorce in and of itself is a very painful process. A lot of people say it's like a death that you experience. And essentially, yes, that's exactly what you're going through. This is the death of a relationship. But you don't have to, no matter how painful that process gets, you don't have to be an asshole. You don't have to contribute to it. You don't have to make it worse than what it is. And especially if you are the one that is either requesting the divorce or you're the cause of the divorce, I think it's more important for you to be extra caring in that process to ensure that the person that you are divorcing from, the person that you may have hurt, or whatever the situation may be, is well taken care of.
Yeah.
Okay. So that, no judge should have to tell you that ever, and I think a lot of it just boils down to, upbringing. I come from a long line of men that took care of their responsibilities, period. Whether the relationship went south or not, those men stuck to it. They made sure that, number one, the spouse was taken care of, but most definitely their children were taken care of. Okay, so that's my sort of lineage. That's where I come from. So to me, going through a divorce process, it was not an option for me to try to shortchange this individual, to try to hurt her in any way, to make it worse than what it already was. If there was going to be a sacrifice made, I was the one to make that sacrifice. I was the one that insisted that she keep the house, that she keep certain assets. And so because I did not enter into this knockdown, drag out fight, and it was like, oh, hell no, you're going to do this and I'm going to do that, I think that made the process easier, because going into the divorce settlement, I knew in the end that I wanted this individual to be well taken care of. So that way, when I left the situation, when I left the house and I moved on, my conscience was clear because I knew that she was okay. And unfortunately, too many people enter into that process, and it's a knockdown, drag out battle. It's a war, because it's all about they go into their separate, neutral corners and deciding, how much can I get? How can I take advantage of this person? But if you go in with more of a caring attitude, how can I care for them? How can I make sure they're okay? I think then you don't necessarily, you can have more of a situation like I did, where it's more amicable.
The key is that both have to be caring.
Sure, absolutely.
So
And she was. I mean, let me tell you. I mean, up until the day I moved out of that process, I mean, she was like, helping me pack, making sure I had, what I needed. Literally. I mean, it was just that type of caring process, up until the very end, and even afterwards. Some things occurred where it was like, hey, are you okay? Things of that nature. So if you have that type of spirit about yourself where you really just care, because again, divorce is hard, man. It's hard. And there's something that attracted you about this individual. There's something that made you marry them to begin with. So if you don't think about anything else while you're going through the divorce process, think about that, and think about, no matter how angry or the fights or whatever occurred that led up to the divorce, sort of take a step back, understand that this is still a person, this is a child of God, this is a person that you were once married to, and in some cases, this is the mother of your child. So take care of her.
Hey, child, real quick, I understand what you're saying, but how far does that go when it comes to their lawyers? If their lawyers are assholes, or if their lawyers are in their ear, I mean, can that change the narrative?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that, bringing lawyers into play, bringing outsiders in general into play is a bad situation.
Right.
Because when you have folks in your ear, family members, friends, things. See, we went through this process, together with no outside interference at all. no attorneys, and no friends, no
That's
families.
real.
You
That's
know what I'm
real.
saying? So because all those things can muddy the water. It's like, no,
Yeah.
girl, you need to get this and that, or man, are you crazy? You know, giving up that house. No, the noise is what creates the problems.
Right.
So to the extent that you can go through that process and keep the noise separate, trust me, you can have you can have more of a positive experience going through it that way. But the minute the lines in the sand are drawn and everybody lawyers up, that's
Yeah.
when the gloves come off, and
The
that's when
emotion
you have the
and
war.
emotion, when
Oh
emotions
yeah,
change.
no question. There's nothing more emotional than money, finances. That's huge, bro.
You got to keep it
So-
real. Also, the attorney's job is to
Make
get
money.
the best and the most for his client.
Yes.
So he gets
And
this percentage.
right, and there you go, and then he gets a percentage of that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's all. So listen, we're coming towards the end here, and Mike, you kind of joined us a little bit late. So our topic, obviously, take him to the bank. Are there any thoughts, any comments that you want to make, Mike? Anything that you wanted to bring up that you may not have had an opportunity to?
No, I haven't experienced the alimony aspect of it, but if it's anything like the child support situation, and I heard it's like ×3, then I say a prayer for all the brothers out there who had to go through that, and all the ladies too, because I know there's some jackalopes out there that's giving y'all a hard time too. So I'm looking at both sides of the coin. For all the people who just wanted to get it done and over with, and somebody tried to drag them through the mud, I'm sorry. I hope it worked out for you. And if the other person that was giving you a hard time, tell them to go to hell. Thank you.
All right. So hey, we got a few minutes left, and then we wanted to kind of step into our drop the mic segment. Real quick before we do that, are there any comments that came in that we want to address?
No, besides the one that Chuck already
Okay.
talked about.
Okay, perfect. So for those of you who may not have been with us much before, we do this thing called drop the mic, where we just kind of put out some thoughts that we have going on in our heads. So I'll go first just to kind of get us going. And one thing I just wanted to bring up is that there's a new show out on Netflix called The Upshows with Mike Epps. It's actually really a pretty good show. It was created by Wanda Sykes, and she's a key character. It's a funny show.
I'm about to check it out.
But what I found, the reason I bring it up is because it is a depiction of a family, and it is not the Huxtables. It is not the Huxtable. And when I thought that first, I said, do you realize that, or I think, the Huxtables would not have the same success today that it had back in those 80s, because that's not how people think anymore.
No.
Correct.
That's just a thought. That's crazy. So that's my drop the mic. Just like, good show to watch, but look at how far, when you see this show, you're gonna be like, holy shit. And it's gonna be like how far we've come from the Cosby Show. Mike, Steph.
Hey, my mic drop is also on a show, but it's a darker, very dark show. But the thing is, it's part of history that I think gets whitewashed specifically by white people, and it's it's the Underground Railroad. It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
It is deep. It's one of those that you got to be prepared for it. Of course, it's fictional. Some things are it just didn't happen, but it makes you think about the pain and suffering that our ancestors went through, and sometimes are still going through. How people can manipulate you and destroy you at the same time. So if you really want, it's only 10 episodes, set in the 1800s. But if you really want to watch something that is compelling and won't allow white people to say, get over, forget slavery, get over it, watch the Underground Railroad. Mic drop.
All right, thanks. Chuck.
My youngest child is about to graduate from high school. Going
You
off
was old.
to
You was old.
yeah. Going off to college. But in all this time, I'm an entrepreneur, and I've been working, trying to provide for the family and the kids for this moment, for them to go off to college. And then in the last year or so when I thought I could, retire or semi-retire and put everything to the side and spend as much time with my son as I could, and also said COVID hits, right? So I guess my drop the mic is never put off tomorrow what your ass should have been doing all along. I just feel like I haven't been able to spend a lot of time with my son. I missed a lot of development time. I missed a lot of father-son time because I was working so much. And the ends justify the means, but the bottom line is I just feel like, thanks to COVID, that we haven't been able to do father-son stuff, bond and all that before he goes off to college. So now he's graduating and he's going off to college, and it is what it is. So spend time making memories with the people you love the most. Drop the mic.
All right. Charles, what you got for us, brother?
All right. I just want to give a big ups to Adam Silver and the NBA for this whole playoff structure that they've entered into. Man, it is next level, man. It's maintained interest. You're talking about so many teams are in it. You have these one and done playoff games, things of that nature. I think it's added just a tremendous amount of excitement and interest to the game. So I'd say hats off to Adam Silver for bringing this to us. Hopefully it remains as the new format going forward, because I'm a big fan of it. I know some people have been down on it, including, I think LeBron James had something negative to say about it in the beginning. But guess what? Last night he played in the game, hit the game winning 3-pointer. And again, the ratings were off the chain. So again, hats off to the NBA for the new structure. I'm digging it. Mic drop.
The great thing about the structure is that you're not resting key players at the end of the season. Everybody's got to play.
Well, the great thing is that you could be a 10 seed and make it.
Right.
If you peak at the right time.
It's
all
incentive.
Right. So Mike, what's your mic drop, Mike?
My mic drop is, I just want to apologize to the fellas and the fans for being late. But I am a soccer dad. And I had to make sure my baby got to where her practice, and we got caught up in traffic. I got a little upset on the way here because I wanted to be here on time and do some things. But like Chuck said, you have to appreciate the time you spend with your kids, because pretty soon they're gonna be off on their own, doing their own thing. So I calmed down, after I took her back by McDonald's, getting some fries, and I had a few, well maybe 8, 10. Anyway, I just want to say that it's very important. A parent, you have a lot of responsibilities, and just do what you can, but always make time to spend with your kids and the family. Family first. One more thing too. Make sure, and when it comes to moist heat in your nether regions, make sure that your pH is there right and you use the right products, because you don't want you want to make sure your life staff reach the Cupid warehouse. Thank you.
All right. On that note, we're going to close us down here. And so thank you again for joining us on Just Be a Man. Please follow us on all social media platforms. We're everywhere, anywhere where you get your information, your podcast, your social media information. We got a presence there. So please continue to follow us and support what we're doing. Thank you again for everything. And like always, peace, love, and Mike.
Deuces.